What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the B-Dubs Movie Hub. Brian here, and today I figured I would do something a little bit different. I haven't done one of these yet, but I figured I would go through everything that I watched in January and rated on Letterboxd. So sit tight and we'll get to it. So I watched 28 movies in January. I'm trying to watch well over 200 this year. I had said it before, I had logged about 201 in 2024, so my goal is to beat that this year. So I figured I would just kind of go through, talk about the movies that I watched on physical media, streaming, and in theaters. Like I said, there's 28 of them, and there's a couple different, themes that occurred when I was watching. So first up, I started off the year with Furiosa, Mad Max saga. I had not seen this, so this was a first time watch, and it became one of my favorite movies from 2024. I really, really enjoyed it. I talked a little bit about this in my top 10, but just Chris Hemsworth alone is just so good in this movie. Probably it's got to be his best performance by far to date. So I did rate this on 4.5 stars on Letterboxd. Like I said, I really enjoyed it. I started off the year January 1st and I watched Furiosa, and what that did was it prompted me to go back and rewatch the rest of the Mad Max movies. So I went ahead and the next day I started up and I watched the first Mad Max. Well, this is actually the trilogy here, so let me open this up. So in here is the Blu-ray, and it comes in the tin, but here's the Mad Max trilogy. So on the second, I watched the first Mad Max starring Mel Gibson. It's an all-time classic. I love it. But yeah, I just watching Furiosa, it prompted me to want to go back and rewatch the Mel Gibson Mad Max trilogy here. So I did go through. I watched these on the second. Watched Mad Max on the second, and then on the third, I watched Mad Max 2 and Beyond Thunderdome. So with the first Mad Max, I rated it 4.5 stars. The Road Warrior Mad Max 2, I rated 5 stars. And Beyond Thunderdome, which is probably the one I have seen the most out of all of these, I also rated 5 stars. I understand it's probably not everybody's favorite in the Mad Max, original trilogy, but Beyond Thunderdome is just the one I watched the most when I was younger, and I've always loved it. It was always just a fun movie, so I gave that one 5 stars. So that was the Mad Max trilogy. Again, I watched that over 2 days on the second and third. And then, of course, from there, I went back and I rewatched Fury Road, which I have on the Blu-ray Steelbook here. This is another one. It's just such a great movie. Tom Hardy took on the role and did a fantastic job. This is another one I rated at 5 stars just because it's one of the best movies that came out in 2015. And I really like the Steelbook. I know there's a 4K out of this one, but I had the Blu-ray long before I started switching things over to 4K, so I just never upgraded it. And to be honest with you, it looks beautiful. Playing on a 4K player and on my Sony Bravia, it just looks so goddamn good. So yeah, that is Fury Road. I watched this on January 4th. On January 5th, I went and saw a special screening of Seven in theaters. I saw it in theaters back in 1995. Such a fantastic movie. I do have it on physical media. I have the Blu-ray Digibook. I've had this one forever. I haven't watched it on here. Wow, actually, I haven't opened it in a while. The pages are kind of very, very stiff, but I haven't watched the Blu-ray in quite some time. I know there's a 4K upgrade that just came out. I don't know if I'll upgrade it. I'm not sure if I really have the need to, but Seven is another 5-star movie. One of my favorites from 1995. It would definitely be on a top 10 if I, let's say if and when I do a 1995 top 10 list. But yep, on January 5th, I went and saw Seven in theaters, which was really fun to kind of see it on the big screen again after so many years. On January 7th, I took to AMC Plus and Shudder, and I started the Hell House LLC journey. This is a movie that was recommended not only by Frank over at Frank's Media and Reviews, but also by my good friend Greg. They both told me that the whole series is really good. So I watched the first one, Hell House LLC. I gave it 3.5 stars. I thought it was a pretty good found footage movie. For the low budget cost that they made, I thought it was pretty well done. So I watched that on the 7th. The next day, on the 8th, I watched Hell House LLC 2, The Abaddon Hotel. This one was not as good. I gave it 1.5 stars. Pretty rough acting. I'm not really sure they needed to kind of keep going with this story, but I knew that there were 2 more, so I powered through it. I gave it 1.5 stars. I did a double feature on the 10th, and I watched Hell House LLC 3, Lake of Fire, followed by Hell House LLC Origins, The Carmichael Manor. So for part 3, I liked it better than part 2. I gave it 3 stars on Letterboxd. It was good. It had some good scares. You could tell that there was a lot of theater actors that were brought in for this one. It was decent. I didn't mind it that much. But Hell House Origins, Carmichael Manor, I thought was the best one out of the 4. And you don't really see that too often where the 4th film in a franchise is the best. But I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was really well done. The feel of it was very atmospheric, very scary. Had some good jump scares. I actually thought that the interview scenes were really well done. I kind of felt like I was watching a real documentary at times. So 4 stars for Hell House LLC Origins of the Carmichael Manor. So after watching found footage horror movies for a few days, I took a complete left turn and I watched The Cowboy Way on DVD. This was a a gift from my friend Greg as subscriber mail. He sent it to me a couple months ago. I hadn't gotten around to watching it. It stars Woody Harrelson and Kiefer Sutherland as 2 cowboys. It's kind of a fish out of water story, and I enjoyed it. It was kind of a fun buddy comedy. I gave it 3 stars on Letterboxd, but I don't know. I thought it was all right, and I don't have a ton of DVDs left in my collection, so I am happy to own The Cowboy Way, and I may revisit this every once in a while. It was fun. All right, on January 13th, I went and saw Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. I did a full review on this one. I give it 2.5 stars. I will link the review down below in the description. Anything that I reviewed here in January already that's on my channel, I'll put a link in the description below so you guys can check that out if you haven't already. But yeah, I saw Neverland Nightmare. I've mentioned it a couple of times. I'm enjoying the Pooniverse. They're been pretty ridiculous so far. Neverland Nightmare takes itself a little bit more seriously. It's a really darkly themed movie, but I enjoyed it. It was alright. I gave it 2.5 stars. Saw that one on the 13th. On January 16th, I started the journey to watch the Wolfman movie. So I watched the original from 1941. This was a first-time watch here in January. I have the 4K Steelbook here that is really nice. I enjoyed the movie. I gave it 4 stars, and I don't watch a ton of the older movies, which I'm really looking forward to change that. Seeing some of the classic black and white, especially the Universal monster movies, because this one was really good. Lon Chaney Jr. was good in it. His character's a little creepy at the beginning there, but I thought it was good. The transformations for 1941, it's very different than what you're seeing nowadays, but I thought it was pretty well done for the time. And so that was 1941's The Wolfman. And then the next day on the 17th, I watched the 2010 version starring Benicio del Toro, Anthony Hopkins, and Emily Blunt. I enjoyed this one. I gave it 3 stars. I didn't like it as much as the original. It's very CGI heavy, and I just feel like that can take you out of it a little bit. But I enjoyed it. It looked really good on the Blu-ray. I've had this one for a few years now, so I thought it was all right. I talked a little bit about this in an earlier review. Like I said, I'll post that down below. But the this one was pretty good. I thought Benicio del Toro was did a pretty good job, and it's just a good take on the original Wolfman. And on the 18th, I saw the new Wolfman movie, so I did my full review on that one as well. So I'll link that below. But I gave it 3.5 stars. I thought it was okay. It's very different than the original Wolfman and the 2010 Wolfman. There's a couple similarities here and there. The overall look of the Wolfman is just completely different. I try not to spoil that too much in my other review, but it's been out for a while now, so I'm sure people kind of know how he looked in the Lee Wanell version. But I thought it was okay. 3.5 stars on 2025 Wolfman. All right, so on January 19th, I started my journey to work my way through my entire David Lynch collection. A lot of these were first time watches for me. He had passed away just about the week before, and I waited too long to watch them, so I just wanted to go through and kind of watch the ones that I did own. There's again a few that I don't have. I'll link my David Lynch video down below as well. But on the 19th, I watched Eraserhead. This one I gave 3 stars on Letterboxd. It's easily one of the weirdest movies I've ever watched, but I enjoyed it for what it was. It's just very weird. Like I said in my other video, I'm not even sure I can begin to explain some of the scenes in this movie, but David Lynch kind of started off his career with a really wild movie here. So that is Eraserhead. The next day on the 20th, I watched The Elephant Man. I absolutely loved this one. I gave it 5 stars. I just thought it was a really good movie. Fantastic performances from both John Hurt and Anthony Hopkins in this one. So that's The Elephant Man. I watched that one on the 20th. On the 21st, I watched Dune, which I don't have here. So this is the Arrow 4K Steelbook. This is another one that I enjoyed. I know it doesn't get a lot of love, for being from 1984. It's a little bit rushed as far as the story goes, but I thought it was pretty good for what it was. I gave this one 3.5 stars on Letterboxd. Then on the 22nd, I watched Blue Velvet. This one is another 5-star rating for me. I really like this movie. I thought it was really good. It's weird. Dennis Hopper gives such a wild performance in this one. So I really enjoyed this movie. This was a first time watch. This is the Blu-ray. I believe this is out on 4K as well from Criterion. But I gave it 5 stars because I just really enjoyed it. On the 23rd, I watched Lost Highway. This one's the 4K Criterion. I gave it 5 stars. I really, really liked this movie. Bill Pullman is fantastic in it. But for me, it was actually Robert Loggia, and his performance is just so damn good. So, again, I'm not going to talk too much about these because I've already done that, and you can check that video out there. But next up was Mulholland Drive. This one I gave 4 stars. Again, this one's the Blu-ray. I think there's a 4K of this one out as well, but I had the Blu-ray for a few years now, so I didn't see a need to upgrade because I hadn't seen the movie prior to this year. But yeah, I give this 4 stars. It's good. It's long. It's like 2.5 hours, but it's good. It gets a little weird toward the end, just with some of the way it ends. Just kind of doesn't really, not much of an explanation as to how it ends, but I enjoyed it for the most part here, and I gave that one 4 stars. And then on the 25th, I actually took a small break from David Lynch, and my wife and I watched Wicked. We watched that one on Amazon Prime. It got nominated for Best Picture, and I need to work my way through those 10 films. So watching it on Amazon was just the easiest way to see it. I had no desire to go see it in theaters. I didn't want people singing along in theaters, so we watched it at home on the couch. I actually really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. I was a little surprised at how much I liked it. I'm not a big fan of Ariana Grande. Her music is just not for me. But I thought she did a pretty good job. Cynthia Erivo was really good in it. So yeah, I gave it 4 stars. It's not my favorite movie from 2024, but I still enjoyed it for what it was. The music was pretty good. It was catchy. Never saw the play, so never had a desire to see the play. Probably never will. Later that day on the 25th, I went back to the David Lynch films and I watched Inland Empire. This one I gave 3 stars. This one is really, really long. It's 3 hours. It probably didn't need to be that long, to be honest, and it wasn't my favorite of the Lynch films, but I thought it was all right. Laura Dern is fantastic in it. Definitely the best part was her acting. She did a really good job in this movie. If you haven't checked it out, I do recommend Inland Empire. It's just long. You gotta find yourself some 3 hours to watch that. And on the 26th, I watched David Lynch, The Art Life on Criterion. I thought this was a really good documentary. It talks more about kind of David Lynch, the artist, not so much David Lynch, the filmmaker. Kind of talks about his artistic career up until about when he made Eraserhead. So I just thought it was a really good story. It's kind of a look inside the mind of Lynch and like his art, which is just as bizarre as the movies that he made. Yeah, so I gave this one 4 stars on Letterboxd. All right, on the 27th, I went to AMC's Scream Unseen, which is, they show horror movies that you don't know what it is until it starts. It turned out to be Companion, which I absolutely loved. I did a full review on that one as well. Sophie Thatcher was fantastic. The story I thought was really, really good, really unique. There are some similarities to other movies out there. My only gripe with it was that they spoiled a lot of it in the marketing. The one trailer was pretty spoiler heavy, and then eventually one of the posters was basically spoiled a pretty big plot detail. So I did a spoiler free review. I'll drop that down below, but I really loved Companion. It was definitely my favorite of the few new releases in January that I had seen. I just have a couple more here. On the 29th, I finally dug into the Super Mario Brothers 4K from Umbrella Entertainment. I did a full unboxing of this when I first got it, earlier last year, and this thing is just, I said it in the day, it's super massive and super chunky. It's a really cool set. The movie is, I thought it was fun. I gave it 3.5 stars. I thought the 4K looked really good. I think there's a lot of fun extras in this with all the books. I do have to go through and read some more of this, but I did flip through This Ain't No Game. There's a lot of fun stuff in that, so I'm going to take some more time, go through. I might actually read some of the scripts that are in here because I think it's really cool that they give you the scripts in the Umbrella releases. But I love this thing. It's one of my favorite releases from last year. Umbrella does fantastic work, and yeah, I waited a little while, but I finally watched the 4K of Super Mario Brothers, and I hadn't seen it in many years. But I liked it. It's fun for what it is. I know it's very different than the video games. I get that, but I thought Bob Hoskins was kind of the perfect choice to play Mario. John Leguizamo, that was a little bit of a miscast there. The next day, on January 30th, I watched one of the weirdest movies, probably from my childhood. This came out in 1985, and Severin released it on Blu-ray, and that is The Peanut Butter Solution. I picked this up at Chiller when I went to the convention a few months back, and Severin had a booth. I saw it and I was like, I have to get this. Christian over at Planet CHH did one of the best video reviews of this movie, and it's hilarious. So you should definitely check that out if you haven't already. But this is a really fucking weird movie, and I liked it. I gave it 3 stars. There's definitely one storyline in here that I'm glad didn't go as far as it could have. Um, when the one kid puts the peanut butter solution on his nether regions. Um, just a really bizarre part of the movie that didn't end up going anywhere, and that's probably a good thing. But overall, Peanut Butter Solution is just a weird fucking movie, and if you've never seen it, do yourself a favor and watch it, because it's weird and it's good. The last movie I watched in January was Abel Ferrara's Dangerous Game. So this is the cinematograph release from Vinegar Syndrome. This is number 5. And I got number 106 out of 6,000. I give it 2.5 stars. I didn't think it was that good. I thought Madonna was really good, and Harvey Keitel was really good in this as well. The character who was played by Abel Ferrara's wife, she plays Harvey Keitel's wife in the movie. I didn't care for her. I didn't think she was very good in this. Just some of the dialogue they gave her just didn't really do her any justice, that's for sure. But the movie was all right. I gave it 2.5 stars. It's a slow burn, and not too much happens, to be honest with you. So yeah, that was the final movie of January that I watched. I was kind of hoping to see one movie a day, about, if I could have gotten through 31 movies. I fell a little short with the 28 here. 28 is definitely more than I watched in January of last year. So I think I'm on a good track to beat last year's 201, that's for sure. I don't have necessarily a plan for February of what I'm going to watch. There's movies coming out in theater that I plan to see. I know we got The Monkey coming out toward the end of the month, so I think my buddies and I already have tickets to see that. I do want to see Hard Eyes, that comes out this week or next week. That might be this week, but I do want to eventually see that. And I have a ton of physical media back here. I've got some unboxings and some movies that came, so I got to work on doing my videos for those. But yeah, that is, like I said, that's everything I watched in the month of January. Let me know, have you seen any of these movies? Do you like any of these movies? Give a comment down below. I do my best to respond to everybody who comments, so I'm going to continue to do that. I hope you guys liked the video. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share this out with your friends. I'm on Letterboxd, Instagram, and Facebook. I will post the link in the description below to those social media platforms so you can follow me there. Thank you again for watching, and I'll catch you next time.